Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to Moscow. Welcome to an interesting new video. And actually people have been asking for this walk around for a little while, and I found an interesting shop that I think might be interesting. Let's go. The reason why I say this is interesting because quite a lot of my videos on the channel are about supermarkets, and this is a flower supermarket or a mini garden center, and it's called Darwin. Now I'm actually from Perth, Australia. Darwin is a city in the northern part of the country of Australia, and this is Darwin Supermarket. The reason why I say this is interesting is because I'm actually in a train station, and this is called Skolkovo. This is actually the lower ground floor, and then there's these very nice glass elevators that take you up to level 3, and it's a mini shopping center in the train station. It's really interesting. I've actually gone past this place so many times and I've never got in here, but I was in the area today, and then I was having lunch in one of the restaurants and I saw this place, and it made me curious to come in and check it out. Now, I just want to show you briefly on the opening hours. It's every day from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. Interesting, they say they accept MasterCard, but I imagine that's a generic sign. However, it says we welcome pets, ice creams, cameras, and roller skates. How many people come to a garden center on roller skates? Let me know. However, these two very lovely ladies here, I explained to them that I was going to make a video, so they weren't a little bit surprised. They're actually going around and watering some of the plants and making everything look nice and fresh. I can buy myself a donkey right here in the entrance. So probably, I think actually about 98% of all the plants in here are all real, and a lot of indoor plants. And then also, now that we're coming up to spring and summer, they've got a lot of plants preparing for summer, or what we call in Russia, dacha season. So there's a lot of plants that you can take to your summer house and plant them. And I thought I'd go for a bit of a walk around and show you, nice and slowly, all the different things that you can get. Now, I'm not a gardener myself. I'm far from it. However, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat or in the comments of my video who do like gardening, and they've got a very wide selection of things, being that it's a garden center, of course. Have a look at the amount of choices of cucumbers. I think they've got them set up almost by color or by type of vegetable, and I imagine fruit somewhere. They've also got set up here these hot houses. A lot of people buy these for their balconies of their apartments, and then at some point they'll take them to their summer house and move the seedlings over to there for summer. And have a look. Now, I'm not doing this video to show pricing or anything like that. However, a lot of these are very reasonably priced. I'd say between about 20 cents and 40 cents for sachets of seeds. I think some of these flowers are a little bit higher though. I didn't see anything over $1 American dollar, which would be equivalent to about 100 rubles. There's also lots of potting mix as well. There's quite a lot to take in. Being that I'm not a gardener, I'm probably missing things. There's also grass seed right there. I can fairly easily recognize what I'm looking at. I would love to be able to plant something and grow something. Now, the only thing I've ever done is I had a palm tree, or a mini one, in our previous apartment, and then at some point it died. And I blame my wife blames me, and between the two of us, we're both not green thumbs. Lots of different hanging baskets. A lot of this is very suited to apartment living. Of course, a lot of people also do live in houses, particularly in this area where I am here in Skolkovo. There is a lot of traditional houses. These LED lights here are what a lot of people use for imitating daytime light. And they actually put these in their balconies where they've got their seedlings growing, and it helps to speed up the process. If you have a look at an apartment building at night and you see all of these pink or green or different colored lights, you know that's what it is. I like the way they've got these signs right here that tell you about the different varieties. Like here, they're raspberries or blackberries. That's pretty neat. So you can buy plants in different stages of growth, obviously more or less expensive. Quite a lot of these plants at the front here are all indoor plants, which you could easily have in your house or balcony. And there's this big dinosaur right here. I wonder if that's something to do with Darwin, or at least Charles Darwin. I wonder. Anybody knows? Let me know about it. I just want to say a big shout out to the two ladies that work here. I'm not sure if they'll watch the video or not. However, they were really nice, and I just explained to them that I was going to make a video. In Russia, you can freely walk into any business, any shop, anywhere within reason and film. You don't have to give them a reason why you're doing it. And I'm always very polite to do that ahead of time, especially on a day like today where it's a little bit quieter. It's late Saturday evening. I think there's about another hour till they close. And I hope this is an interesting walk around. This particular store is shop number 8 of this chain, and they're all in Moscow. And I didn't know about this place before today. I was literally just walking by on my way home through the train station here, and I thought it would make a very nice, interesting video. Get some strawberry seedlings. Man, I feel like strawberries. We've still got quite a few months to go until the season is fully on the go. Lots of these different hanging plants. So there's quite a lot of these. These are all real, and then there's obviously varying prices depending on how mature they are. And they've got a whole back wall here of pots. And this is very much like my supermarket tours, but it's a garden center, or at least a shopping center style garden center. And that's what they're trying to do, is bring them closer to home, bring them into shopping centers. So you've got more things to do when you go shopping. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but shopping centers are proactively looking for new businesses that are not traditional clothes and shoes. And they want to have a lot of non-traditional retail shops in their shopping centers. Being that I'm not a gardener, there's of course lots of things that I don't know what they are. I can look at the pictures and generally understand that all this stuff here is plant food and different types of fertilizer style things, perhaps to help your strawberries grow bigger. There is a lot of plants, even some little, I'm not sure what these would be called, like conifers or small trees. There's some climbing plants there as well. Now, I am actually here on Saturday evening, and I pretty much think you're not going to see a lot of gardeners at a garden center on Saturday night. I was out all day and then was making my way home when I saw this place. Maybe I need a crocodile statue for somewhere. I've actually got quite a few back here. I'm almost in the corner of the shop. They've got all sorts of different figurines. Maybe we want Russian Bambi or some of these different hedgehogs, or are they porcupines? And then as you come in the back here, they've actually got a homeware section where they've got lots of things like plates and dishes and bowls. And this is all in the shopping center. It's actually kind of interesting when you look up, because it gives you a bit of a strange effect because of the fact that this is the mezzanine right here. You can see right up to the 3rd level. I think they obviously wanted this location because it gives the most light and it helps the plants along. Yeah, there's a whole homeware section tucked away in the back. So if you're wanting a new coffee cup, maybe even some containers. My wife doesn't like me for always talking about plastic containers, that we should have more of them to put all of the leftover foods in the fridge in containers. In how many garden centers do you know that sell frying pans as well? That's really interesting. There's even some cleaning supplies, some knives and forks. So you've got a little bit of everything, even sets of knives. Now, of course, this sort of kitchenware stuff, you could go to other stores, of course. And this is quite unique because it's a garden center in a shopping center in a train station. Now, it's almost points for difficulty to have that. How many garden centers in the world, actually, let's say that again. How many train stations in the world have a garden center inside? I think that's the right way around. These are all the pickling jars right here, especially for people in summertime. They're going to harvest all the fruit and then pickle everything and then store it in the basement of the house. And you've got food then for all winter time. I think out of myself and my wife, I think she would prefer much more to come into this kind of shop and look for things, because she'll always find something that will go somewhere in our apartment. I'm not too sure if we trust ourselves with real plants. They've actually got a specials shelf here. Maybe they're not up to scratch and they aren't in the normal plant section. Some of them are a little worse for wear, but I think that's very normal. And then you can buy them as is and do your best to bring them back to life. Get some different types of palm trees here as well. It's all sorts of sizes. And on this side there's a whole range of pots. I wonder if this is a famous Russian gardener or home decor person. Now the shop isn't huge. I guess for me it's the size of a medium supermarket. And I wonder if at some point they thought about a supermarket here. There is actually one up on the 3rd level as you walk towards the entrance of the train station. So maybe they didn't want to have 2 of them. Not too sure. More general things. There's different rocks and pebbles that you can put in your plant pots. So here in Russia, or at least I'm here in Moscow, you can walk into this kind of place and find all sorts of indoor plants and all the things for your summer house. There's even a cactus section right at the front here, along with the dinosaur. Actually, I think they've got some kind of a noise maker in there that's chirping away like the birds would. That's really nice as well. You can also buy bags of potatoes. I think people use these to plant, to grow more potatoes. Fairly sure if I brought those home for dinner tonight, my wife would be a little emotional about it. However, they've got them, actually the same thing here for, I think, it's either flowers or bulbs. I think actually perhaps even spring onions. They've got all sorts of different types. And then more garden statues. These are really nice actually. You don't need to put these in your garden. I think you can have them in your kitchen or somewhere. Nice. Even got a couple of things on promotion here as well. Maybe it's the last items. Yeah, lots of glassware. You can make your own terrarium if you wanted to. I've even got some pictures for the walls if you want to put something up. These are very standard that you see in all homeware stores or in home renovating shops. This is really nice to see a garden center actually built into this shopping center, which is in a train station. I need to repeat that to myself because it's kind of hard to comprehend. We've even got some refrigerated, I think there's actually some seeds or whatever you call those that are already starting to grow in this little cool room with the air conditioning unit right there. And then I think back here where people might do online ordering or pickups, they've got stuff stored. There's some things I think possibly for Easter because it's got a very Easter theme to it, or maybe the purple theme. And then the registers. Of course, we all grab a chicken as we're going to the checkout. The grab and go items. I think lots of different like plant food and sachets of things. How is it going into a garden center and instead of having candy at the end of the aisle, there's plant food and some different things for decorating. Actually, again, these are all Easter related items. So super interesting shop. And I hope there's a video on the channel. On the other register, they've got the pruning scissors. I hope I'm saying the right words. Somebody can correct me. That'll be really nice. The gentleman there we saw earlier grabbing some seeds. I think there's definitely people who really enjoy spring and then into summer. And it also means it's the end of winter as well. So let me know what you think of this place. I think it's super cool. I head on out of Darwin Supermarket or garden center. Is it called something else where you live? That's what we call them in Australia. You do gardening in a center. And I think that makes sense. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a perfect fit for my channel and for the different types of videos that I make on the channel. There is an entire playlist of supermarkets, not just from here in Russia, also from Bali when I was there as well. I did some videos and I enjoy making this type of content on my channel. So thanks for watching. And if you've made it to the end and I see in the comments the word strawberry, then I know you've made it to the end. Now I want strawberries. Now if you want to follow me on Telegram, there's a link right here. And then if you want to watch another video on the channel, I'll find something interesting to put and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.